All right, there's been an air accident in Virginia we want to tell you about. The Air National Guard reports that an F-15C has crashed. This happened in Augusta County.
Yeah, they're saying Deerfield community of Augusta. A spokesman for the National Guard didn't have information on the fate of the pilot, whether or not that pilot was able to eject in time. We are going to keep an eye on this story for you, bring you any new details once they come into our newsroom.
All right, so many of us woke up to the news this morning of a 33-year-old American killed fighting for ISIS in Syria.
President Obama has authorized, we know, reconnaissance flights over Syria, a move that could, some believe, pave the way for U.S. airstrikes on ISIS targets in that nation. Senator John McCain just this morning issued a stark warning, though, about how the U.S. should proceed.
You can't contain ISIS. You have to defeat it. Look at the way that it's grown and morphed in just the last year or so. They have now attracted young people, young men from all over the world, and they are growing in strength. They have U.S. equipment, they have money, and they are a direct threat. And you can't just contain direct threats. It's not like the Cold War. They are going to be exporting terror to the United States of America.
Joining us is CNN military analyst, retired Lieutenant General Mark Hertling. General, thanks so much for being with us. Senator McCain obviously feels the need to try to go after ISIS right now. He's calling for airstrikes, among other things. Let's talk about the operation underway right now. The air surveillance, there are drones flying nearby right there. What are they looking for, and do you think the military right now is doing more than just looking?
Well, yeah, they are doing more than just looking. They are doing pattern analysis. They are conducting operations that are linked to intelligence gathering. It's more than just drones. It doesn't have to be overflying Syrian territory. There are things called SLARs, side-looking airborne radars that can look from Iraq into Syria. There are all kinds of techniques to gather intelligence, and that's a critical piece right now. It is more than just looking for targets. It is looking for patterns, operational headquarters, convoy movements, how flow is going in and out of Syria into support operations in Iraq. So when you're talking about the kinds of things the president has authorized, we are building intelligence and better situational awareness, which we do not have in that part of Syria, to perhaps continue to defeat ISIS in many areas.
So give us an idea, too, because militarily there is so much that can be done. But is there other avenues that can be taken, other diplomatic efforts? I mean, it seems strange to want to use diplomacy to deal with people that are beheading journalists, yet are there other avenues that can be investigated?
Michaela, that is a great question, and it's not talked enough about enough. Christiane Amanpour mentioned that yesterday, and I was applauding because it's something that every colonel in the military is taught during their time at the War College. There is diplomatic means, informational means, monetary means, and military means. So we call it the dime analogy, diplomatic, information, military, and economic. And all of those areas should be brought to bear. John Kirby said yesterday, Admiral Kirby said yesterday, that more allies are joining us now, and they're starting to build a coalition. The force of diplomacy, the force of messaging to get average Islamists to condemn this organization, that's got to be part of it. It can't just be airstrikes.
General, just a few minutes ago, we saw a video from the mother of journalist Steven Sotloff, Shirley Sotloff, pleading for the life of her son, asking these ISIS militants to release him, to show mercy. I just want to get your impression of seeing something like that, and if you think maybe it can be effective.
Well, what was interesting about that message, and I just heard it too, his mother actually used the words of the Quran in approaching this radical extremist. I mean, I think sometimes we have to remind these radicals, these extreme abusers of Islam, of the great religion that is Islam, that they are in fact violating the faith by doing some of the things they're doing. So I think it was an interesting message. I'm not sure how helpful it's going to be. I'm not sure if it was blessed by either the State Department or the Department of Defense, but it was an interesting approach, and it's not the first time something like that's been used.
Well, we certainly hope there's something that can be done. It was just heartrending to hear that mother plead for her son's life. Mark Hertling, always a pleasure to have you with us, General. Thank you so much.